All right, I will say a good night of Shabbos, Steve, who are our sponsors for this evening.
I want to thank R.A. Stein. Here we go. R.A. Stein is a close for Refuah Shlema for R.A. Eliezer Ben Razel.
Amen.
Refuah Shlema. We have an anonymous sponsor. Thank you very much. And a late-breaking sponsor, Baruch Meir Dubin. Wow. His grandmother. Steve, hear you. Late-breaking sponsor. There we go. Now. All right. Baruch Meir Dubin. Tzvi Nishma. Sarah Chanavas Beryl Nachum. His grandmother's 12-yard site.
Amen. Amen. Shkoyach everyone. And a tremendous shkoyach to Rabbi Tzvi for the beautiful spread tonight. Incredible. Thank you, Rabbi Tzvi. Always appreciate.
David, can you hear?
How much effort you've been. I will say, just what I want to just do, just for the first literally minute and a half of this year, Kanai Nahara, our Chaburah has grown, and there's new people here. So Baruch Hashem, we're just going to take literally a minute just to go around, just say your name. No other, just stand up for a second so everybody could see you. No other personal information. No other. I know all your personal information anyway. No other personal information. Just mamish your name. And then. David Schwartz, we're starting with you.
You just need a Schwartz. Can't hear you.
Rabbi Yehuda, we'll go around this side.
Go to book Walter. Speak frequent.
Neil Weiss. Ames Wani. Yisrael Blumen.
David Bondi.
Yitzi Katz.
Leo Ramos.
Richard Simon.
Matt Marks.
Yeah! Wow!
Eliyahu Roseborough.
Shmuel Karapkin.
Shmuel Silber.
Zevi Daniel, the University of Miami.
Ethan Dubin, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure.
Ethan Resnikov.
Moshe Abrams.
Ivan Cohen.
Itchy Weingarten.
Adam Edelman.
Steve Glasgow.
Chaim Shubin.
Kai Riebischen.
Kiva Lawrence. Yaakov Bornstein.
You may be wondering why I asked you all this.
Mark Glassman.
Wait, where's Yehuda? Yehuda walked in. Yehuda roll. All right. Yeah. I said I introduced myself. Shmuel Silber. I came after Shmuel Karapkin. It was I say also just a tremendous mazel tov to Rabbi Ivan Cohen on the engagement of his son Eli. Mazel tov. If the Chassidus is on a Thursday night, we'll be holding shir there. Emir Tzashem. Shatov mitzlachas. Okay, so let's begin. Really, it is such a schos Baruch Hashem to be able to learn together, to welcome in Shabbos together with the Piacezna. And I will say we're continuing Emir Tzashem. We're continuing Emir Tzashem tonight. First of all, there are sheets. If everyone has a sheet or a sefer, There's plenty. All right, so we're continuing tonight. Last week we started a dramatic and pivotal piece within the Rebbe's Torah, and we kind of like we dipped a pinky toe into it last week. But Amir Hashem, tonight we're going to have this fully immersive. And again, and I thank you to Reb Zevi for the beautiful music. Mamish, incredible. All right, so let's begin. Page Shin Mem Aleph, and we're in section Chaf Vav. So remember again, we did the intro last week, but let's begin it again. So Tamea Ani, Lama Ze'in Mar'ishim Kol Kach B'Shah Shehochem L'Shalashudis, K'Mishim Mar'ishim B'Shah Shehochem L'Kol Midrei. So the Rebbe's bothered. The Rebbe's wondering, how is it that people don't tremble as much when they go to Shalashudis as much as they tremble when they go to Kol Midrei? Right? The Rebbe comparing the experience of Shalashudis with the experience of Kol Nidre. Okay, so let's analyze. This piece, it caused a big stir last week. It caused a big stir about Shalashudis. So somebody in charge of Shalashudis heard my comment about the Shalashudis menu that's offered. It wasn't an easy conversation, but it was one that was long coming. So Baruch Hashem, we're good. We're going to make Shalashudis great again. And Mir Hashem. So the Rebbe says that was not a political endorsement of any form. So the Rebbe says as follows. He says, Yesh Shalosh Seudos. Shemamish Eini Motzi Li Makom. Sometimes Shalashudis comes, and the Rebbe says, literally again, I can't find my footing. Like I literally can't find a place. Domele Ki'ilu Ad Hayisi Ad Ata Hayisi Mustar. Oh, Histarti Asim Neged Hashem. So the Rebbe is describing over here a profound sense of spiritual inadequacy. That's like the break-in case of emergency bottle. That's So the Rebbe is describing a profound sense of spiritual inadequacy. That sometimes I don't know if it's me hiding from God, if it's God hiding from me. But one thing I know with absolute clarity is I feel. Move a little bit this way. I can see everybody this way. Good. You're good. No, you're good. You're good. Is that okay?
No, I share it. Let's go. When in Rome.
I'm not moving away from you. I'm moving away. I just want to be able to see everyone. So the Rebbe describing over here this just profound sense of spiritual inadequacy, which surfaced dafka during Shalashudis. I sometimes come into Shalashudis and the Rebbe says, I feel like I've never met God before in my life. Or I feel ultimately again as if I've hidden myself from Hashem. V'ata, hineni nimtza lefanab yisbarach panim al panim. And now the Rebbe says, now come Shalashudis, and now the same God who I've been hiding from, the same God who I've been avoiding, I now find myself face to face with Him. And about again, as we mentioned last week, remember the Rebbe's concept of Shalashudis being the holiest time of Shabbos. We already saw B'nei Machshava Tova, right? The chariots, the divine chariots riding through Shalashudis. Ve'enei mala mabitos bi ubikiri me'ever la'ever. Ve'es kol shimtza af kol nekuda peguma asher bi b'tza'aros u'uchichos. The Rebbe says this is incredible. The Rebbe says, and I find myself looking inward, and everywhere I look, I see something broken. I see something broken. I'm looking inside myself in this tremendous moment of introspection, in this tremendous moment of big, close encounter with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and everywhere I look, inside and out, I find kol nekuda paguma. I find everything that's broken inside of me, and everything I see just is heartbreaking. So, this, just by the way, it's an overwhelming. There's so many overwhelming things happening over here. First of all, that the Rebbe perceived this feeling of Shalashudis and this closeness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and in this moment of closeness, what it triggered within the Rebbe was almost like this feeling of anxiety. I'm so broken. I'm so incomplete. I'm so flawed. Habusha tidchikeni va'pachad yifaltzeni. The embarrassment makes me want to run away. Yitzchakeni, like pushes me away. Va'pachad yifaltzeni. But ultimately, again, the fear paralyzes me. So as I see here like this, it's almost like these contradictory ideas. The embarrassment wants to make me run away, but the fear keeps me frozen in place. I just want to hide. I just want to hide myself between people. Tachas hashulchan. I even just want to crawl under the table. Aval ana elech muruchacha Va'ana mipanecha esaser. Was David HaMelech. But the Ribono Shel Olam, I recognize. Where should I run? Where should I go? Where should I go? Ana elech mirachacha. Where can I go to run away from you? Va'ana mipanech. Where can I hide from you? B'makom she'asaser sham ninseisa. So Piacezna says, wherever I hide, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're there. You're there. Ubemakom she'eschabe sham aleisa. And wherever I hide, ultimately, again, you've filled the space. There's nowhere I can go. There's nowhere I can go to get away from you. So let's now watch this. So I just want to point out what's unfolding over here is, why didn't the Rebbe experience these emotions any other time of the week? See, the way it works is like this, is that when there is a little bit of distance from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so we can engage in all different forms of self-delusion. All forms. When there is kirva, Hashem, the closer you are to the Ribono Shel Olam. So at the end of the day, all of the external facade is stripped away. All of the external facade is stripped away. And there is no choice but to be brutally honest with oneself. And by the way, this is not an idea of the Piacezna. Think about this, and this is important piece of information to know. Mirz Hashem, B'Sha'a Tova U'Mitzlachas. Here, we are going to have a third Beis HaMikdash. We are going to have a third Beis HaMikdash. And I will say, what's the halacha when you go into Harabais? Even today, if you go into Harabais, Rabbi Huda was just on Harabais. I discussed to do it in a couple of years ago. And when you go into Harabais, even today, the halacha is you can't wear shoes. You can't wear shoes. So you go into the Beis HaMikdash, you can't wear shoes, you can't bring your wallet, you can't have your walking stick. What's the pshat? Shabbos, if you think about it, your shoes, your wallet, your walking stick, what do they all give you? A sense of security and stability. Stolz, right? Good. They give you a sense of stability and standing, right? I got my shoes. Always, whenever I think about shoes, I think about my grandmother, Zichrono Devracha, who was on a death march. And they started out with tens of thousands of young women. Somewhere between like 16 and 25 survived. She was zocha to be one of the survivors. And she said, you could survive. She said, it's amazing to see how you could survive without food. And you could even survive without clothing in the middle of the winter. But the one thing you can survive without are shoes. Shoes afford you a basic sense of security. Your wallet, your money, right? You have your wallet, you feel pretty good. You got a couple of credit cards, a little bit of cash. You're good, right? Your walking stick, stability. So all those things give us a perceived sense of stability, that I stand on my own. When you come before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you remove the illusions of stability. You remove the illusions of stolz. You're right. You remove the illusions that you are self-sufficient. Because when you come before the Ribono Shel Olam, it is just you and Hashem. And the closer you get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the more and more layers that are peeled away. That's why. Right? Remember again, this is important also. Coming up to Yom Kippur, Abba Aleinu L'Tova, the Kohen Gadol goes into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. What does he wear in the Kodesh HaKadoshim? What does he wear when he goes in? Plain white clothing. Plain white clothing. But what about all the beautiful Kohanic vestments, the Choshen, right? The Choshen and everything. Right? So many beautiful jewels and gold and this, that. No. That's fine outside. You come before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You come before Hashem. All there is at the end of the day is you and God. There's nothing else. So the Piacezna came to Shalosh, right? And in Shalosh, the Piacezna felt this incredible closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Well, it's that very closeness that almost triggered this profound sense of introspection. I can't hide. I can't run anywhere. I can't delude. I'm not wearing my shoes, so to speak. There's no walking stick. There is no wallet, right? I don't have any of those things. It's just me and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, I have no choice but to be real about who I am, what I am, and what I am not. So it's triggered within him this profound. It must be a Gilgal. That's flying around in here. Right? So. Right, I ultimately again triggers within me this profound sense of anxiety. He goes on. Rotzani lasti ben Hashem. I want to go into the Ava'anei good. He skips Kushani Magia leMizmor Dav Hashem Roilech. So listen to this. We'll say, and when I get to the Zemer, Mizmor leDavid Hashem Roilech. So Hashem is my shepherd. I shall not lack. Lo ira ra ki ata imadi. And I say the phrase, Ribono Shel Olam, I fear nothing, for you are with me. Piacezna says, Tidbak l'shoni l'chiki libli daber. I say those words, and I almost become, I can't even say those words. Now, why can't he say those words? Lo ira ra ki ata imadi. I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Why can't he say those words? Haim kol kach azus bi likpot ata min makom bo shti lechos bekanfe kavodo v'lemar ki ata. Turn the page. Imadi. So the Piacezna says, how could I have the chutzpah to say ki Hashem imadi? How can I say that? I have the chutzpah. Hashem is with me. Who am I? Who am I that I have the right to say that God is with me? Who am I that I have the ability to make that statement that Chaburah on earth? The Piacezna says the ability to say, I fear nothing because Hashem, you are with me. That presupposes that I deserve to have HaKadosh Baruch Hu with me. Who says that I deserve to have HaKadosh Baruch Hu with me? Who says that I deserve that? Who am I? Piacezna says, I know what I am. I know what I am. I know how broken I am. I know how spiritually bereft I am. I know how many mistakes I made, how many wrong turns I have. Why would HaKadosh Baruch Hu ever want to be with a person like me? You see, the world doesn't know me. They don't know the real me, right? The world sees the external facade. I know the real me. I know the real me. And I know how broken the real me is. And I don't really want to be with the real me. So if I don't want to be with the real me, why would HaKadosh Baruch Hu want to be with me? So the Piacezna says, I say this phrase, Lo ira ra ki atoimadi. I have nothing to fear, for you are with me. The Piacezna says, literally, my tongue sticks to its palate. I can't say the words. How could I have the chutzpah to say that Hashem is going to be with me? Why, in a million years, would the master of the universe want to keep company with a person like me, who is so profoundly broken in so many overwhelming ways? Ve'emi Hashem abitos bi b'chol kach yogon u'musar ad shemenakros es libi v'sarfos es kol gufi. The Piacezna says, I feel the divine eyes like staring on me. What's the expression? Someone, the eyes beating down, drilling into, right? I feel like the divine eyes, like, just make that up. Is that really?
I made it. That's mommy.
That's fantastic. That's excellent. That's excellent, by the way. Right? I feel like the divine, boring into me. That's better. Drilling sounds so boring into me, right? I
close.
Guy sits at the head of the table for 1 week and you're making up words. You know, that takes a while. You have to be in this for a little while before you start making a vocabulary. And, you know, so the nice
Straight drill from the record. Not a word anymore.
Take it out. I'll say, so the Piacezna says, I feel like the Ribono Shel Olam's eyes boring / drilling right into me, right? What the Piacezna is describing also over here is just a feeling of profound hypocrisy. Right? And it was like, can you imagine, like the Piacezna walks into Shalosh for this? What happened? Like, we're gonna be Mirz Hashem. Mashiach comes in the Tchias HaMesim, our first Gaon residence. First Gaon residence is the Piacezna. I'm not going to call it Gaon residence because I don't think the Piacezna does a scholars in residence, right? But Lamaisa, our first Rebbe, our first visiting Rebbe, is going to be the Piacezna. We'll say, can you imagine what it was like when the Piacezna walked into Shalosh? The Chassidim probably sprung up, singing, dancing. So they're all like basking in the glow of the tzaddik. And meanwhile, the tzaddik just wants to run and hide under the table. The tzaddik just wants to get out of here, but he's paralyzed. The tzaddik feels so inadequate. And the tzaddik feels, while everybody thinks that he's such a tzaddik, and he's such a rebbe, and he's such a that, he's like, the Ribono Shel Olam sees how broken I am. And what a broken utensil I am. And I feel the divine eyes boring down, drilling into me, looking at my inadequacies. He goes on, V'yesh pamim, shekol kach bosh v'nechlatz ani, ad shekim'at lo kama ruach mi. The Rebbe says, sometimes I am so embarrassed, that almost as if I have no energy, I have no spirit inside of me. Roa nafshi es miut erki. In this moment of true introspection, I see how lowly I am. Af shel hatov shiyochal ani lalos bi, neged kedushas Hashem asher ata lefanas. The Rabbi says, okay, and even if I try to find something good inside of myself, being that I'm in such close proximity to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, any good that I have, by definition, just almost like evaporates when in the presence of the true greatness of the Ribono Shel Olam. Listen to this, Rabbi says incredible. Dome nafshi ba'osasha. In that moment, this is how I feel. Litolas she'espara bechozak v'yofi binyana shebansa ba'adama. So Rabbi says this is incredible. Imagine there was a worm, right? A worm, right? A natural worm. And the worm built for himself a little makom, right? A little worm house, right? But for the worm, like him, this is like a shtik Gan Eden, right? So like he built it. There's it's a house, and there's a backyard, and there's a worm swing set, right? Worm jacuzzi, a lap pool, right? The worm has everything, right? The little barbecue, outdoor kitchen, right? He's got the whole worm zachen going on over here. All the worm, he's the envy of the whole worm neighborhood, right? And he thinks like he's mamish like the king, right? He's got everything. And what happens? One day, one day the worm decides, you know what, I'm going to go on a little spazier, a little walk. And he slithers away from his little worm neighborhood. And he goes and he sees where the people live. And what does he see? He sees homes and palaces. And he's like, oh my gosh, I thought that I was living in a castle, right? I thought I had everything. And now I realize that when faced with what a real home looks like, I have nothing. And now the worm realizes that his little worm bungalow, right, his little worm house, right, is mamish a nothing. It's hevel. It's nothingness when compared to what an actual home looks like. And any beauty that he thought was possessed in his home is really nothing. Is really absolutely nothing. So see, you understand? That's the mashal. What's the name? Shal? Gam kedusha, gam atara shemuchsha ani lava masai. So the Piacezna says, you're right. Of course, if I look inside myself, could I find good? Of course, I could find good. But here's the problem: ayin ve'efes bifnei tahar einayim, nemichios v'shimtza bifnei misha gam hashamayim lo zaku be'enav. Here's the problem. The problem is when I look inside myself and I find my good and I identify my good is like the worm house in front of the true palatial estate. I can find good, but at Shalosh, when I'm in the presence of the ultimate good, the Ribono Shel Olam, my good looks like and feels like nothing. See, what's very profound about this is as follows. You know, Rabbi Nachman, we spoke about this many times. And Rabbi Nachman's whole yesod is that in the aftermath of sin, or when a person is feeling down about themselves, it is so important to find an akuda tova, right? To find something good. Isn't there a Yosef Karduner song like that? Okay, good. So the idea over here is even right. What is it?
It's Rav Nachman.
Okay. Da. Good. So Rabbi Nachman says, right? Rabbi Nachman says that you always have to find something good. And that works. The truth is that works because what that does is, like we spoke about last week, that prevents you from falling into the abyss of Yeosh. Right? You won't fall, if you find something good, you won't fall into the abyss of Yeosh. The Rebbe says, but here's the problem. That when you go ahead and you find yourself in direct connection, in direct confrontation with the ultimate good, so then my good looks like nothing. Just like the worm, right? The worm has his own. And as long as the worm is just living in his little worm neighborhood, right? He's the king of the block. Everything is great. The moment he goes out of his neighborhood and he sees what real homes look like, he realizes that his home is nothing. So when I'm by myself and I look inside and I try to find some good, okay, I could find good. But the Rabbi says that Shalosh, when I'm in direct proximity, the Ribbon Shalom is here with me. It's the closest part of Shabbos, right? It's the part of Shabbos when we are closest to one another. And in that moment, again, I'm eye to eye, face to face with the Ribono Shel Olam. In that moment, the Piacezna says, I'm like the worm that slithered into the human neighborhood. And all the good that I thought I had, it's nothing. It's deficient. The Rebbe describing a very overwhelming Shalosh this experience over here. Very overwhelming. He goes on, he says, Hein gam me'azos yadati, rak yadati. Ve'ata b'shalosh Seudos, kidushaso yisbarach sheniskar vali ki'ilu lo chatzes, v'rameses es kol atzmi. I'll say this is very profound. The Rebbe says, I always knew that I had imperfections, but now that I come to Shalosh this, and I have this incredible closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, listen to this, it's almost as if that the Ribono Shel Olam, the Kiddusha, ultimately lochatzes v'romeses bi. It destroys me. It destroys. Do you understand? The closeness to Hashem destroys me. I feel so inadequate. I feel like such a nothing. Because Rabbi say, when you come lifnei Hashem, when you Rabbi say, by the way, we experience this in different ways, right? I think a lot of times we experience this on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, right? In those moments, like when you're in shul, and there's nowhere to go, right? There's nowhere to go. You're just going to be in shul for a while. And so what's interesting is, when there's nowhere to run, and you've exhausted all the reading material, right? I've already read Israel newsletter I've read back issues. I've read back issues already, right? I'm even reading the Palestinian newsletter already. Right? I'm done, whatever. I've read everything there is to read. I've finished Shas already a couple of times. There's nothing left. So suddenly, in that moment where there's nowhere else to go, you have this overwhelming moment where you're just in front of Hashem. And that moment of kirva, on one hand, is so beautiful and so spiritually ecstatic. On the other hand, the Piacezna says, in that moment when I can't make any more excuses, right? There's no more excuses for anything. There's a certain feeling of despair. There's a certain feeling of sadness. There's a certain feeling of, I can't believe I'm so broken, because when I come before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, all of the illusions fall away, right? We all have a litany of excuses for why we have not become the people we are capable of becoming. And we all have a laundry list of reasons why I can't self-actualize, why I can't do this halacha, that halacha, do this, that. And they're all great reasons, fantastic reasons. And the great part about excuses, we'll say, what's the best part about excuses? The best part? Save them enough, and they actually sound real. So I can't do this, I have the lifestyle, I'm here, I'm there, I can't do it. Okay, you said it 25 times. So if you said 25 times why you can't do something, it must be MS. And it works 362 days a year, right? But 2 days Rosh Hashanah, 1 day Yom Kippur, there's a lot of time in just close proximity to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And in those moments, everything melts away. And so suddenly, I'm left with this feeling, and it's incredible. And the reason why that feeling often makes us uncomfortable, deep down, I both say, do you want to know deep down why people really have a difficult time with Yomim Noraim? Do you want to know why? See, I really believe this. Here's my theory. People speak about the length of time in shul. Chazan went so long. I was thinking to myself, I get it. I'm an Ogeh B'Davar. This is like what I do for a living. This is my life. I got it. I said to myself, where are you going? Where are you going on a Shabbos? Where are you going on Rosh Hashanah? Where are you going? You have to fresh more? You have to eat more? You have to sleep more? What do you have to do? Where do you have to be? That's such urgency that you need to get out of here as quickly as possible. It's amazing. Even I dafka speak at the end of davenings. This way, again, no one's held hostage by the drasha. If anybody wants to leave, they can leave. But I will tell you, sometimes I'm like, wow, where are you going? It's okay, go. That's I dafka speak at the end. I don't believe in rabbis holding their audiences hostages if somebody doesn't want to stay. But it does beg the question, where are you going? If you're going into the basement, you're opening up a sefer, you'd rather learn Gemara than listen to Silber. I'd rather learn Gemara than listen to Silber. Great, I'm with you. But if you're shmying around, walking around behind the curtain that does not block out any sound, or just walking around and just doing whatever, what are you doing? What am I saying? What are you doing? And you know what it is deep down? Deep down, what people are really saying is, get me out of here as quickly as possible. And I'll tell you why. I'm uncomfortable. And it's not the nigunim that the chaz is doing, and it's not even the length of the drasha. Is that the more time I spend here, the more the illusions slip away. And the more the illusions slip away, the more I come in close proximity to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and I have to be real about my life. So I'm happy to spend time in shul, just enough time to discharge obligations, chap a good shmooze, but not enough time to actually have to engage in any serious introspection or thought. Get me like a SEAL Team 6 extraction out of here, right? Get me out of here before I actually have to think about my life. And I will say, this is the psychology of Jews in shul. Jews have been running out of shul, right? For thousands upon thousands of years. It doesn't matter who the rabbi is, right? It doesn't matter who the darshan is. It doesn't matter who the Baal Tefillah is. Jews run away from davening. And that's why you find the quick minyan, it's like striking spiritual gold. There's no singing. How does a yid daven without singing? What do you, and more, where are you running? What, you put up 2 crackpots of cholent so you could get home a little earlier? Where are you running? But we're scared. We're scared of being real with ourselves. We really are. We really are. Spend enough time in shul, something amazing happens. Even if you daydream, something amazing happens, which is all the excuses float away. And suddenly I find myself, boom, right up next to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And when you are right up next to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you don't have your shoes, you don't have your wallet, you don't have your walking staff, all you're wearing are simple white clothing, and suddenly there are no more excuses. And suddenly I have to face the reality of who I am and what I am. I would say that's why we run. That's why we run. And we're always running. Because I just don't want to have to confront. The difference is that Piacezna didn't run. Piacezna didn't run. And he walked into Shalosh with this knowing full well what the experience is going to engender for him. So the Rabbi goes on. He says, Umigoldel. Let's finish up. Umigoldel nimisasi. Ume'efes afisasi. Ein amida ve'imitzius. Nafshi mischazekes umar heves oz yavor alayma. So listen to this. It's incredible. So the Piacezna says, okay, I feel overwhelmed. This is incredible. But the Piacezna had the courage to do what often we don't, which is stay. Sit down. Don't run out. We'll say, it's such a deep psychology, we'll say, it really is. And by the way, you can plug it into everything. All kidding aside, why do Chaburah have to go out and make Kiddush in the middle of davening? Why? And by the way, don't get me wrong. I am all for a good Kiddush. All for a good l'chaim. There's nothing. It's one of the most powerful things in Yiddishkeit is l'chaim. But did your mommy send you with a snack bag with like juice and pretzels? Also because you need to eat something in the middle. This is just different thing. I have a lot to say on this. Also, the new trend. The new trend. By the way, of bringing water bottles and stuff into shul. I don't know. I didn't grow up in the shtetl, but where did that come from? You need a drink, put on your big boy pants and go outside. That's how you get a drink. Everybody's bringing people the whole time on the davening this. What is that? It's what I'm saying. I'm sorry. Whatever it is. It's like the most ridiculous thing in the world. But I will say, I want to tell you what it is. Because deep down what we're just doing is we're trying to water down the spiritual experience. That's what it is. So I walk in with my coffee. I got my coffee. And really? You're bringing a coffee into davening with you? For learning. I'm not talking for learning. Learning is great. Bring a coffee. You're walking into davening with a cup of coffee? You're having coffee with God? That's what you're doing? You have a coffee date with anybody? I'm the kind of you. I don't get a coffee date with God. Right? I tremble before God. Right? I daven before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I don't usually get to have coffee with him. So I'm the kind of people, what are you doing? What are you doing? And if you think about it for a second, my gosh, can you imagine somebody walking? I don't know. Think about. Can you imagine the Kohen Gadol, just on a regular day, right? Just on a regular day, walking in with a cup of coffee into the base. Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, l'chaim. Can you imagine? He's like, here, you know what? Hold this. I got to do the Torah. Right? Hold this for a second. Right? I'm saying, can you imagine that? But yet, I walk into the Mikdash Mat, with a water bottle, a cup of coffee, who knows what else, and I'm just shmying around. And then when I finish the coffee in here, no problem, there's more coffee back there. I'll go back, get another cup, come back out, and whatever. I'll say, why do we do it? We know better. We really know better. Just I could wait a little bit longer to have Kiddush after davening. I don't have to go out in the middle. And again, Kiddush is great. Kiddush is fantastic. Why am I running out? Because I will say, deep down, I'm scared to be serious. Because the great part about walking with a cup of coffee, nothing makes a Beis HaKnesses more profane than turning it into your living room. Right? That's it. Come on, bring a coffee over here. Let's relax. Let's chill. It's a big chill. And then when I'm finished over here, I'll go out over here because we're scared. Because we're scared. At the end of the day, we're scared of the closeness. We're scared of the intimacy. We're scared of getting too close because when you get too close and you get into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, everything is peeled away. And when everything is peeled away, there's no more excuses. And what do you do in that moment when there's no more excuses? Well, the first thing is you're scared to your core. You're scared to your core. And that's the Piacezna is describing over here. He says, I feel so overwhelmed. He says, Nafshi mischazekes umarheves ad yavra alayma. But the Rabbi says, I resist the temptation to run. I think I want to run, but I'm not going to run. Listen to this. Remember again, the Rabbi said, I feel like such a hypocrite saying that phrase, that even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I feel no evil, for you are with me. And then the Rabbi said, remember what he said before? Who am I to say, ki ata imadi? Who am I to say that Hashem is with me? Who am I to say that? The Rebbe says, but then I decide, you know what? I'm going to say it. Look what he writes. Gam ben hatipe sha'iver v'ashavar kore es aviv hamelech aviata. He says, imagine a king. This is incredible. Imagine a king, right? And the king has a prince. But let's say the king has a son, and this son is, as they say, an eisvarf. I don't know what the good English word for eisvarf is. Yeah, an outcast, right? His kid is just not, whatever. Clearly not monarchical material. The words of the Piacezna is he's foolish, he's blind to life, he's profoundly broken. Even that son of the king, right? Who is not fit for anything, when he calls out to the king, how does he call him? Abba. Even if the son does not live up to the expectations of his father, the son is still the son, and the father is still the father. So the Piacezna says so beautifully that even though at the end of the day, I feel so inadequate in the presence of my father, he's still my father, and I'm still his son. And so I find the courage to say, Gam ki elech begeit salmaves lo irara ki ato imadi. Yes, even broken me, even broken Kalmas Shapira, even broken Piacezna Rebbe, even me, even a broken son. So listen to this. Even a broken son is still a son. And even a broken child still calls his father Abba. And even when a broken son calls out to his father, a father still listens. What an incredible idea. He says, "V'haya ki dachef leben atipshim v'amishugaim im gam az libo acher aviv yeme yitzak v'irash avi hamelach yikraveu." And even if the son does everything wrong, and even if the son follows the fools and the crazy people, and at the end of the day, when the son calls out, "Avi, my father," the king always brings him close. You see, with the Piacezna has this incredible epiphany. I am broken, and I am profoundly broken, and maybe sometimes it even feels that I'm irreparably broken. But the Ribono Shel Olam, we're his children. And whenever a child says, Abba always says, yes, Shefala. Abba always says, yes, Tatala. Abba always says yes. Abba always says what? Abba always says let's talk. No matter how broken or how off the derech the son may be, Abba always is there. Ki af em lehisracham eno kedai mikol makom kvod hamelech lo yischalo u'mimena mishugam tzakas avi hamelech lo yishama gam ken ani bein la'atzileni bein chas v'shalom lo. So also the Piacezna says, whether HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to save me or is not going to save me, he's going to help me or he's not going to help me. Libi acharecha yeme v'shimcha no'im li lahaskir. Rabbi say this is beautiful. The Rabbi says, Rabbi Shalom, here's what I've decided. Whether you're going to give me what I want, you're not going to give me what I want. You're going to help me, you're not going to help me. It doesn't really matter. You're my father, and I'm your son. So I'm always going to cry out to you, no matter what. And I will never feel embarrassed to call out to you. Because no matter how badly a son messes up in life, he could always call out Abba. It is the greatest privilege that gives life to my heart and light to my eyes to call you my father. And even though, again, the Piacezna says, Ribono Shel Olam, compared to you, I am so sullied, right? So sullied and so blemished, especially when compared to the beauty of your luminescent holiness. At the end of the day, Father, I'm asking you to bring me close. Kriyas avio malki yirash. Gam ki elech begeit salmoves lo irara, ki gam sham ato imadi. So you hear what the Piacezna says, it's incredible. He describes this moment of profound and overwhelming spiritual inadequacy. I walk in before the Ribbon Shalom, I walk in before Hashem. I walk in before Him. And then at the end of the day, I feel so broken. I'm the worm who thought he had it all together until he saw an actual real house. And now I feel like a nothing. I feel paralyzed. I feel inadequate. How could I say, Lo ira ra ki atamidu? How could I say you're with me? What chutzpah? And then I say, you know what? I can have chutzpah. I can have chutzpah. Do you know why? Because a son is always a son and a father is always a father. And I can always call out to Abba. He'll give me what I want. He won't give me what I want. That's part of his calculations. But he's always my Abba. And I'm always the Ben. I'm always the son. And that never changes no matter what I do or don't do. That relationship is solid. That relationship is established, and that relationship is immutable. Kol shalosh seudos matzavo. So the Rabbi says, let's finish up this piece. The Rabbi says, every Shalosh kind of has its own dynamic. The Rabbi says, sometimes my entire Shalosh experience is one of brokenheartedness, and sometimes I start brokenhearted, but then I end off spiritually strong. This is so beautiful. When I get to the Zemer of Ein Kelokenu, Tamid Nafshi Mischazak Yasusnecha, I become so happy. I'll say it's interesting. I think Ein Kelokenu is printed in the benchers by Shalosh. I don't know that people really sing Ein Kelokenu by Shalosh, but it really is by Shalosh. I'm sorry. No, we're starting it this week. No more egg salad and yes, okay, and Kelokenu. We're making a swap. No, we can't give it to tuna. The fish has to stay. And so the Rebbe says like this. He says, when I get to Ein Kelokenu, my soul is strengthened and so happy. Lo me'atzmi ani medaber atat. Tzarchei amaron l'kadosh atani medaber. L'sham yishafani yisbarach zikani. U'la'hachris es gidulaso v'yichudas kidushaso l'kal becharani. Because at the end of the day, I have the incredible privilege. What's the incredible privilege? To cry out the praise of Hashem. Ein Kelokenu. There is no one like our God. And the Piacezna says, I realize that I have the ability, I have the privilege to literally sing the praises of my Father. And that is a schos. And in that schos, in that privilege, my soul, my heart is filled with joy. For that I was chosen. And even though I'm so brokenhearted, remember again, I'm still brokenhearted. Why is he brokenhearted? Because the close divine proximity of Shalosh has caused the Piacezna to introspect. And that introspection has exposed all of the frailties, all that is broken. And yet with all of this brokenheartedness, I jump up and down. I jump with joy. And with strength of soul. And I cry out to the entire universe, from the heavens to the Aman to the animals, even the particles of dirt underneath my feet will hear, Shimo v'odia eschem, ein kelokenu, ein kadonenu. The Piacezna says, then I realize I'm a son, and Abba is my Abba. And then I sing out Ein Kelokenu, and I sing to the entire universe. Look at this Ribono Shalom. Look at this God. No one has an Abba like I have. No one has a Ribono Shalom like I have. Ein Kelokenu, Ein Kadonenu. There is no one like our God. There is no one like our Master. There is no one like my Abba. And when I cry out to the world how great my Abba is, that envelops me with a profound sense of simcha. Migodal simchase v'hischazkusi, nafshi mishaleves umarheves oz ve'almul hol kidushas omeres, atu Elokeinu, atu Adonenu. And again, the Piacezna says, through this incredible sense of joy and this incredible sense now of strength, my soul is on fire. And opposite the Ribono Shalom, you know what I say? So remember again, the way Ein Kelokenu works is, the first is a general statement. Ein Kelokenu, Ein Kal, right? We're telling like the universe, there is no one like our God. But then what do we say? Ata hu Elokenu, Ata hu Adonenu. What's Ata? We're actually going to learn this in Sibkas HaTzadik tomorrow morning. Ata, the Rabbi Tzav calls this Lashon Nochach. Ata means I'm speaking directly to someone. Ein Kelokenu, Ein Kadonenu is me speaking about God, but not to God. Ata hu Elokenu, Ata hu Adonenu is me talking to God. So the Rabbi said, do you see the incredible spiritual journey over here? The Piacezna goes at the beginning of Shalosh, ultimately again to feeling inadequate, broken, paralyzed, wanting to hide under the table. And then he realizes, but you know what? No matter how inadequate I am, it's so important, no matter how inadequate I am, Abba is still my Abba and I am still his Ben. My father is my father. He may not always be happy with me, but he always loves me. My father is my father, I always is. That relationship is unbreakable. And because of that, the Rebbe says, I realize I have that relationship. That relationship is my anchor. And then I begin to sing about my Abba. And first I begin to sing about my Abba. I sing to the world about my Abba. And then I talk to Abba. Then I talk to my Father. Atu Elokeinu. Atu Adonenu. And in that moment, the Piacezna says, we reach the pinnacle of Shalosh, when father and son are once again engaged in dialogue. Shalosh started out with son feeling estranged and apart from his father. And then we get to Ein Kelokenu, and father and son are once again locked in beautiful dialogue. Look what he writes. Ukishemevian es haneros, motza ani es atzmi leish acher, hakol hayanochutz v'tov, kam shivar naliv shebetchila. So when they bring the candles. So I'm not sure exactly what he's referring to over here. It used to be, remember again, lav dafka, they had electricity. So remember again, it was common that they would often rely on a non-Jew to go ahead and bring candles, right? Because you're allowed to instruct a guy to do malacha l'tzarchei tzibor. It's like you could ask a non-Jew to turn on a light for the sake. So he could be referring to over that during Shalosh it would get dark. It would get dark, especially again, you could assume that the Piacezna certainly again prolonged Shabbos. So it could get dark. So he could be referring to over here the Neros that perhaps the Gentile would bring during Shalosh, or it could refer to Havdalah. I'm not sure. Because Neros, by the time they bring out the candles, the Rebbe says, I found myself transformed into someone else. Everything is good. Even my brokenheartedness that existed in the beginning. Everything is cleansed. Everything is cleansed. Everything is beautiful. Everything is good. Everything is good. So we'll say this was the Piacezna's journey of Shalosh. Starts out from estrangement, and ultimately, again, ends in dialogical connection. Father and son begin Shalosh kind of at opposite ends of the room, and by the time Shalosh comes to an end, they're locked in beautiful embrace. It's almost reminiscent. You know what we daven for? You know when we say, Hine anochi sholeach lachem es Eliyahu hanavi, it's Eliyahu hanavi, the pasuk says. And when the Navi describes what's going to happen in the times of Mashiach, what does the Navi say? V'heishiv leiv avos albanim v'leiv banim al avosam. Chadosh Baruch Hu will bring the hearts of fathers and sons once together again. So we often think about that like as human fathers, human sons. But the truth is, it also means when Mashiach comes, means we'll come close to Abba, and Abba will once again come close to us. The truth is, Abba is always close to us. It's us who tends to move away, but we'll come back. But the beautiful part is you don't have to wait for Mashiach in order to have the Heshiv Leiv Avos Abanim Leibanim Alabosam. Instead, one could experience that dynamic, says the Rebbe, every single Shalosh. Recognize that Shalosh represents this opportunity to come lifnei Hashem, to come in direct proximity to Hashem. I'm the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur. No wallet, no shoes, no staff, just white clothing. But as beautiful as that sounds, all of the illusions slip away. When the illusions slip away, I'm forced to be real with what I am and what I'm not. That's scary. That's overwhelming. My reflex is to run, but I feel paralyzed with fear. I can't run. So over time, I just say, you know what, Abba? You're still my Abba. You're still my Abba. Abba say, the Ribono Shel Olam just loves us. He just loves us. Not because of what we're going to do, because we may do, what we have done, what we haven't done. He just loves us because a father loves his son. That's the way it works. And then I begin to work through this and I realize, okay, you're right. Lo ira ra ki atai madi. No matter how badly I messed up in life, I'm still your son. And once I realize that, I build on that. How do I build on that? Ein Kelokenu. I want to tell the world about how great my Abba is. And then I go from telling the world how great my Abba is to telling Abba how great he is. Atu Elokenu. Atu Adonenu. The dialogue has been reestablished. The relationship has been reignited and reinvigorated. And ultimately, again, it says the Piacezna, by the time we get to Shalosh, I am a brand new, different person. And look how he ends off. V'lama zeh ein marishin kol kach b'shah shahochem l'shalashudis kimo shahochem l'kol nidrei. And now that Rebbe says, you understand why I can't understand why people are not as scared and frightened to walk into Shalashudis as they are to walk into Kol Nidrei. All right, did I say, Shkoyach, what a night. Ma'ariv in the main shul.